These are the most common mistakes that people make when they get into real estate. The first is they let emotion lead before logic. An example of that is you find a brand new property, you walk in, it makes you feel really good. And you're thinking, oh, I would love to live here. It'd be a really big upgrade from where I live now. And, life would be so wonderful and magical here. The reality is that is like buying a brand new car and driving it off the lot. Right when you move into that property, you're going to start doing wear and tear, and in 3, 4, 5 years, it's not going to look as nice. So always lead with logic and reason. Always protect your investment, the down payment that you're putting on in that property, and the risk that you're taking on with that loan. So always use logic and reason and remove emotion from the equation. The next is trusting someone else. An example would be trusting a real estate agent, trusting your friends and family, trusting other people, and making a decision based on what they say. That is almost like watching the news and buying a stock because of what the news anchor says. You need to form your own opinion and form that opinion based on logic and reason. So knowing the neighborhood, knowing the market, knowing what things are truly worth. And that way you can trust yourself. And then if things go really well, which they will if you apply the right amount of debt to the property and you really understand what you're doing and you're not overextending yourself and you're buying, in the right areas, the right market, like I've mentioned in other videos, then you'll be fine. The last is the laws, knowing what the rules and regulations are. If you're a landlord, you need to understand, are the laws in your favor? Are they in favor of the tenant? And if so, how can you work within those laws? Does it make sense to enter that market? So you really want to understand everything that can work for you and work against you. The next is speculation. Buying because you think that the price is going up. That is a very, very bad reason to buy a piece of property. In my personal opinion, the reason being is because the outcome is outside of your control. If you're buying with logic and reason and you're buying things that you truly understand, then you're going to be earning profit on month 1 if you're buying, say, a multifamily property. So removing speculation. Speculation is, hopefully that all does work out down the road. But ultimately what you're banking on is true value, intrinsic value, not something that can hopefully happen later. The next is knowledge. You need to have the knowledge of your marketplace. You need to really understand your market better than anyone. When you walk into an open house, you walk into a property with an agent, you need to know more than that agent. You need to be on top of it. You have to actually think about how important it is when you buy a piece of property. When you buy a piece of property, you're putting in most of your money, if not all of your money, into this asset. So to give someone the trust and the power over how you're spending your money and where you're putting your money, it's a scary idea. It is a scary idea because their motivation is for you to buy a piece of property. That's how they get paid as agents. So you knowing your market inside and out and you really protecting your downside by knowing this, it puts you in a position to make a smart and informed decision. And lastly is partnerships, partnering up with the wrong partner. Hopping into a deal because maybe you don't have the capital, but you just want to get into the deal. And the reason that partnerships can go south are because one party really was not aware of the entire circumstance. They're not aware of what their responsibilities and duties were, or maybe they need the money, maybe all their money is tied up in this deal. Maybe you guys have a falling out. For whatever reason, partnerships can become sticky. So make sure when you have a partner, when you're doing a deal, that you sit down and you go over all the best and worst case scenarios involving both the property and one another's personal lives. So in the event that something did happen, would you need this money? Or is this 100% we're going to be able to make this work? So sitting down, having that true and long conversation will ultimately lead to a better relationship and a better deal and more money for both of you. So these are common mistakes that I see people make. And yeah, so just sit back, learn as much as you possibly can before you step forward. I know it can be very, very exciting thinking about buying a property, But it's only exciting when you buy the right property, when you make money, and when you're moving in the right direction. So definitely avoid all these mistakes. Learn as much as you can. Be very active in our Telegram group. Any deals that you're looking at, please submit them in the Telegram group. Show up to the weekly Q&As. We're gonna all chime in. I'm gonna look at your deals and we will do our best to make sure that that first deal is really the one that puts you on the map.